don't be surprised if authorities close the usual U-turn slot you take on EDSA in the next few days. The Metro Manila Development Authority has started gradually sealing off 13 U-turn slots on the highway. First to go is the one near the Trinoma Mall on North Avenue, Quezon City. The project is expected to take up to 3 months. MMDA General Manager Jojo Garcia says U-turn slots along the northbound stretch of EDSA will be completed first before moving on to the ones on the other side going south. He says barriers will be put up to prevent buses from moving curbside and to help ease traffic. And we now speak to MMDA's Bong Nebrija. Thank you for joining us, sir, tonight on The Final Word. Sir Bong, today is the first day of the gradual closure of U-turn slots along EDSA. I know only the U-turn slot in front of Trinoma Mall has been sealed off. Tell us, what was MMDA's assessment on how this is affecting traffic in the area or in EDSA in general?
Hi, good evening. Yeah, that's right. The U-turn slot that we closed this morning is the North Avenue U-turn slot that is before the North Avenue MRT station. And the assessment that we have for this day is that, in all the schemes that we start to introduce, the first day is usually the birth pains will show. And early in the morning, when we started with this, we've seen many private vehicles who got confused and got inside the busway. On the other hand, there are buses who still thought that the opening after the U-turn start is still available, and then they got out of the busway thinking they could enter in that slot, but the slot is already closed. And that's why we found the buses outside the busway and private vehicles are inside the busway.
Right.
So we started correcting this by deploying personnel at the entryway of the busway, and at the same time, we put up men at the dispatching point in Monumento, telling each bus departing from that point that they should align and take the innermost lane, so that they won't miss the new entry point, which is near Bansalangin Street.
Mm-hmm.
So it took us maybe around 2 hours to get this going, and eventually corrected itself in the afternoon. Right. There was no significant traffic that we observed, except that there were crisscrossing on at both ends of the barriers, because the buses, particularly in the northbound, who are going out of the busway, and the private vehicles who are getting in line in the median lane for the U-turn.
Well,
and likewise, on the northbound, the private vehicles who are coming out of the U-turn are in conflict with the buses getting inside the busway.
right.
But, our traffic engineering center are doing something
Okay.
to correct this, so maybe we will be adjusting in the next few days.
Right, Bong. With the closure of all EDSA U-turn slots, it looks like the government is really hell-bent in stepping up efforts to improve the EDSA busway system. I mean, there is no turning back here. This is for the long run, and I guess the new normal in EDSA.
That's right. This is really for the greater good of the greater number, considering the buses carries the most number of commuters, so we give them the priority so that they could, bring the commuters from one point to another in a fast, more efficient way.
Right. We understand, Bong, that about a dozen more U-turn slots along EDSA will be gradually sealed off from traffic. How will this be done? No? And will MMDA give advance notices to motorists?
Yes, of course. We need to come with a mass public information campaign to provide accurate and timely information to private motorists who will be affected by these closures, so that there will be less confusion, just like what happened this morning, that even though that we had put up the signages a week ago, there are still people who thought that the U-turn slot is still open. But anyway, we learned our lessons here, and we will be doing better the next time that we will be closing these U-turns. And hopefully, road users or motorists on EDSA will try to empower themselves with information and try to solicit information on the next closure so that they will be informed.
Right.
We cannot do this on an individual basis. We really need to come up with information coming out of the social media, the mainstream media, and the like.
Bong.
So I think it's the responsibility of each and everyone to empower themselves with information that they need.
Maybe we're running out of time, but let me just ask, it remains uncertain, Bong, how the holiday rush would look like this year, amid this pandemic. But still, how are we preparing just in case more vehicles will be allowed on EDSA in the coming months, since we know the holiday season is among the busiest in the year, which, well, as we know, often results to really monstrous traffic?
That's right. Despite the pandemic, I think the Christmas spirit is still alive among us, and we expect that somehow it will build up later on, even though that sales in the malls are not yet allowed, and physical distancing, and there's a limited capacity, and as far as mall goers are allowed. So there will be changes, but we expect that later on towards Christmas that there will still be build-up, but much lesser than what we used to have.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, EDSA Traffic Chief Bong Nebrija.